This is One Leeds. Welcome back to the latest video. This video, as always, is sponsored by Shop GNO, the Job Match Group, and Match Bingo. Let's get into it. First up, the Job Match Group. Whether you're looking for your next big gig or just browsing, the Job Match Group has niche job sites made just for you. F1, retail, security, and loads more. They're about matching the right person to the right job. Make sure you check them out if you're ready to level up your career. Then we've got Shop GNO, an exciting new e-commerce site where you can grab exclusive deals and discounts. Right now, One Leeds has an affiliate link just below where you can score a 25 quid membership for free, unlocking special rates and benefits. You can even list your own shop on there with way better rates than Amazon, eBay, and Vinted. They've got some Leeds bits and some general bits now and launching soon, plus some great prizes just for signing up. This is all powered by a massive Leeds United fan looking to make waves in the online shopping world. So check them out and support your local. And don't forget our mates at Match Bingo. They're smashing it with footy fun. You can get 5 bingo cards for the price of 4 through One Leeds, and you can even deposit just a £5 at a time to join the action. It's a big chance to win whilst having a blast with your fellow Leeds United friends. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Check the links in the description, and let's get on with the video. Well, hello everybody. I hope you're doing fantastically well. My name is Conor McGilligan. This is One Leeds, and this is the rumour mill. What is going on, everybody? Let me know in the comment section below. Today we're talking Buendia Buonanotte, we're talking Gustavo, we're talking Buendia, we're talking Demirovic, we're talking Ethan Ampadu, we're talking squad selection versus the one and only Arsenal. Big game for Leeds United this weekend. Can we get something? We're going to be going through a little bit of the team news, what we expect. It's going to be a tough one, isn't it? But you got to go into these games with a little bit of hope. But it's great to see all of you guys in the building today. What's going on? Let me know in the comment section below if you're interested in additional football bits. We do have a second channel, everybody. If you fancy looking at that, we've got a great show called Three at the Back with myself, Benjamin Bloom, and Matt SB, which is over there. You guys seem to be really enjoying that as well. And we have another show with myself and Callum Fowler. We might be getting another show as well, going with Mr. Jimmy Smith. Who knows? We'll wait and see. But let us know, everybody, what's going on in the comment section. Good to see Leeds United with an update there. Ampadu isn't injured. Those 3 points will sell the project a lot better to incoming targets. Morning, Connor. How are you feeling about Okafor signing? Me personally, I'm all for it. Think he'll offer us something a bit different in the final third. Yeah, mate, we'll get into that definitely. Thanks for your comment. Morning, Connor. Watching on the train from Liverpool to Leeds. Thought I should take a break from rinsing at the Evertonians. I work with good man. Love to see that, pal. Love to see that. Morning, Connor, and everyone. Okafor to be announced as a Leeds player midstream. I'm calling it. I think this. How often has this happened now? Has this happened about 9 times during this window? I think it has. It's just been called during the stream, and I'm like, oh, okay. Got to react live. Great. So hold on. Let me just move me. Am I just a little bit? Yeah, that's a bit better, isn't it? It's a bit better. We don't want to be seeing that. You want to be seeing Ellen Road, don't you? Okay, morning, Connor. Hi, Carl. What's going on, buddy? Morning, Clarence. What's going on? Living the LUFC dream, indeed. Good afternoon from Kefalonia, Whiteside, bud. What's going on? Morning, Connor. Have you contacted Jimbo recently? Oh, dear. Sheffield United. Yes, I have, mate. Yeah, I'm just keeping tabs on him, making sure he's all good. Because it's not going great for them, is it? Okay, everybody, let's get into the latest news today then. Obviously, this is the Room Mill. If you've not been here before, we like to encompass a little bit of DDD into this show, which is discussion, debate, and discourse, which makes us a little bit different over here. So as long as you're respectful, get your comments in the section below. We try to have a little bit of objectivity when it comes to the news and maybe facts and this, that, and the other, but we do obviously encourage subjectivity in the chat, and all opinions matter as long as they're respectful, of course. Okay, so missed out on this yesterday. We did the rumour mill, and then everything came out in terms of Baron Cross did a little bit of a piece when it came to The Athletic, and he reported yesterday of the priorities that Leeds United have got going into the remainder of the window, which is fascinating. And a lot of us were talking about 9s. A lot of us were talking about, well, me anyway, potentially of like a left back and a right back. Not happening, though. So it's going to be fullback cover. I think we're well aware of that. And we're going to get into the realism of what Leeds United are actually going to do in this window. Like the remaining sort of ember of this window feels like it's coming to a conclusion. and it feels slightly predictable. And that doesn't mean it's a bad thing, but it maybe is slightly predictable in terms of the positions that Leeds are going to be targeting. And Berryn sort of confirmed this yesterday on the Room Mill. We were speaking about it. I had an idea of what I think it will be towards the back end of the window when it comes to a number 9. We were speaking about on the show yesterday, are Leeds realistically going to do that? A lot of you guys were saying, Connor, they still might, and we'll get into some of the rumours throughout this video, but Berryn was saying yesterday that, and this was sort of confirmed a little bit by Sky Sports the other day, which I was seeing it, on the old TV, and then I checked it out online. But Sky Sports was saying that a number 9 seems very improbable for Leeds United after the Dominic Calvert-Lewin signing. Now, obviously, we know with DCL coming in, the wage that he's on, the contract that he's on, this isn't a 12-month deal of which you're going to prove your fitness. This is DCL coming to Leeds United with a brand spanking new agent on $100,000 a week for 3 years. Do you know what I mean? That's how much money is that? A 12 to 15 million quid, a 12 to 15 million quid deal across a contract. So, look, it's a lot, isn't it? It is a heck of a lot. Turn the volume up, Connor. It's a bit dark. My volume is full on and it's quiet. Right, okay, here we go again. Is this any better? Let me know in the comment section below. Are we all good? Obviously, sometimes the volume can be a little bit of an issue. Are we all good? Everything is turned up now. We're on max, everybody, so it shouldn't be a problem. Just getting into the bits and bats of it. I think some of you guys are deaf. I am also deaf. Listen, I used to get water in my ears when I was a kid, multiple ear infections, so I am also deaf. So I'm not a good measure for how the volume is, but I will be talking a little bit louder. How about that? So, yeah, look, Sky Sports was saying yesterday that a 9 seems improbable. DCL has shifted the strategy a little bit when it comes to Leeds United. And Berryn Cross was confirming yesterday that the likelihood of what's going to go on till the end of the window, till the 1st of September, is a 10 coming in, a winger, and a fullback. So if we're kind of all looking at that, and we're looking at the strategy shifting now because of DCL coming in, I think that probably gives us a little bit more calmness, or maybe not calmness, when it comes to squad building. Okafor's going to come in. There's definitely a little bit of versatility there, in my opinion. There's definitely like a reason he's come in, and there's a reason that he's going to come in and be versatile alongside being a left winger. He's going to come in as a backup 9 if needed for Leeds United, which I think's unequivocally clear. So overall, it's interesting when it comes to this squad building now that Leeds United have got. The squad building that Leeds United have got. And he was saying yesterday, Berryn, that a 10 is likely, a winger and a fullback. But he said never rule out a striker, but that is effectively becoming a little bit more difficult now. So then we've got Facundo Buenanotte on the screen right now. Why have you got him on there, Connor? Well, he was one of the names that Berryn mentioned. He's mentioned Facundo Buenanotte, he's mentioned Gus Hamer, he's mentioned Emi Buendia, and he's mentioned El Canouse. Now, what do we know about all of these number 10s? El Canouse looks likely that he will be going to Crystal Palace. Eze has now moved, or looks like he is on. That was funny, by the way, wasn't it? Spurs had him. Spurs had him. But no, he's gone to Arsenal. Good God. I'm so happy we're not in that realm of competition again, like, the early days when it was Cantona, then Smith, then Rio, then Smith, whatever it was with Leeds United. Goodness me, when we had our rivals coming and picking up some of our better players or transfers that they had the lead on. So, yeah, look, overall, El Canouse going to Palace is likely now. Looks like Buenanotte as well, if you're to believe Kicker and German reports, is sort of keen, and Dortmund have been working in the background. They missed out on James McAtee. Looks like they're going to be moving a little bit more on Buenanotte, so it looks like that deal's going to be done. Brighton's priority was to keep him in the Premier League, which is something which maybe is keeping Leeds in and around the sort of Argentinian. Who knows? They don't want to send him to the Bundesliga. They want to keep him in the Premier League. But if there is a financial reward there when it comes to Facundo Buenanotte, it is what it is. He's going to be going to Dortmund, playing at a decent level, playing in front of the yellow wall, and then probably coming back to Brighton as a better player. So I think Buenanotte is unlikely. I think when you look at El Canouse, it's completely unlikely. Leeds are definitely going to get a number 10. They're definitely going to get a number 10. But I think when you look at it right now, and we kind of have a little bit of realism about it, he's out, I think. Buenanotte. I think Buenanotte is out. I think El Canouse is out. And Berryn Cross, then the other two, was Emi Buendia, who is, in my opinion, effectively being, if you're to believe reports, sort of 7 to 10 days ago, Emery wants to integrate him back into the Villa squad. That's what he wants to do. Not played a lot of minutes. So could this happen? Could it happen? Look, I've been pioneering for this the whole flipping window. I think this is likely. Not likely, but if we are to go for a number 10, I don't think Buendia is likely, I'll be honest with you. I think Leeds will be daft again. Look, not again, and that's harsh. But I think you've got to go and bring someone in who, in my opinion, I think you've got to go in and bring someone in who, in that front line, if you can get someone in who's dependable and a little bit more reliable, then you've got to go for that, which Hamer is. Emi Buendia is a bit of a problem in my eyes just because of that dependability. You can't bring in, you brought in Mecha, who's a little bit of a risk. You're bringing in Okafor, who's a little bit of a risk. You brought in DCL, who's a little bit of a risk. You can't continue, I think, to take risks in the forward line, albeit these are good players, in my opinion, when it comes to the ones that we've brought in. As I've mentioned to you guys before, Okafor I'm a little bit 50-50 on, but we'll wait and see. But when it comes to Gustavo Hamer, you have got a clean bill of health there, really. And there's a lot of people who talk consistently about his fitness is an issue, his fitness is an issue. He's played the best part of 80 games, hasn't he, in the past 2 seasons, so his fitness isn't an issue. It's more of the last 15, 20 minutes of games, but how picky are we being here? If you can get that sort of X factor out of Gus Hamer, we've been talking about a marquee signing, we've been talking about players potentially coming in who are going to make the difference. I think Gustavo Hamer, if you're talking about off the bench, if you're talking about a variance in midfielders, if you are playing a 4-2-3-1, if you're playing a 4-3-3, Hamer gives you an option in there. He gives you something completely different. So Paul says PSV are after Hamer. It doesn't matter, mate. Doesn't matter if they're after him. He won't go to PSV. He won't go to PSV. He's not gonna leave. I think he's made it pretty clear as well. He wants to stay in Yorkshire. He likes Sheffield, which is, they're the only they're not the only markers that we should be looking at here. But he's also said plenty of times that he would welcome a move to the Premier League. He's 28 now. He's in sort of that crystallised period of his career, the prime. I would not say no to Hamer whatsoever. I think there's a lot of people who say, he's a fat lad, he's a fat lad, he's a fat lad. Like, okay, fine. That's absolutely fine. But I think if you get him in a bit of a clean bill of health when it comes to fitness, if you get him into a Leeds United regime, a bit of a different sort of environment, I think you'd see a really, really decent Gus Hamer there. A really decent Gus Hamer. So bearing in mind as well, when Jadon Bogle was at Sheffield United fans, some of them would complain about his fitness levels as well. And I think Jadon's looking pretty good in the Leeds United side. So, yeah, I think he's the likely one, unless there is, I've seen a lot of you guys talk about Spurtian, who, I'll tell you what, we'll get him up now. Because some of you might not be aware of who he is. This, that, and the other. Apparently Leeds United do like him. I've not really taken that much note when it comes to Spurtian, because I just don't think it's going to happen. But we'll get some of his statistics up here. You're not going to find his statistics, but this is the man. We'll get him up on the old player stats. This is a rumour that's going around. We spoke about it ages ago. Obviously, he's at Krasnodar, Edward Spurtian. To be honest, guys, I feel a lot when it's come to him throughout the window that it's all agent talk. It goes quiet, then all of a sudden, it without sort of another pun, it spurts up again. The conversation goes loud again. I don't think there's anything in this. I think it's all agent talk, but I could be wrong. Obviously, they're the stats just for his new season, but I think when there's a likelihood of something happening, the fact that Berren has said still Leeds are keen on a 10, and when you look at the likelihood of all the other three, Buenanotte is not going to come to Leeds, in my opinion. Could be wrong, but I don't think he's going to come to Leeds. El Kanous is definitely going to be going to Crystal Palace. Buenanotte apparently is wanted by Marseille again. Do we want to go down that road? And then I think you kind of then look at it, and if someone wants to throw Spurtian in there, that might be one, but I doubt it. I think when you look at the top leagues, I think Leeds are going to be looking at that. The top leagues, players to bring in. I think that's clearly been a bit of a target, bringing in players of sort of top 3 to 5 leagues, integrating them within a side. I think Hamer fits the age profile as well. Being in the Premier League before, which might be a little bit of a criteria, but for me, I'd be over the moon with Hamer. I think it'd be a top signing. I think it'd be a really good signing, and I think when you fit him in with players who are better than what he's had at Sheffield United, as we've seen with a lot of our players, when they've come in and been surrounded by better players, I think you'd see a much better Hamer as well. DCL and Hamer would be an interesting one as well. Brownhill is better. Okay, fair enough. What about Uche? Yes, this is an interesting one. Now, I've seen this a couple of times. Obviously, we spoke about Cristantas Uche. And according to reports, this guy is definitely going to be on the move towards the back end of the window. And we've spoke about Cristantas Uche on the channel before. And apparently Getafe are trying to raise funds. Now, this will be a lovely addition. And this is someone who really in the Leeds United setup would bring that explosiveness, which we've all been talking about. He's very, very good when it comes to that turn of pace as well. As I've just mentioned, that explosiveness, it almost mirrors that of Willian Yonto when he's just getting out the pockets and getting a shot off. Listen, we spoke about Cristantas Uche very, very early on. The price is in and around 22 to 25 million quid. Could be a little bit further than that, but Getafe right now are trying to raise funds. They're trying to raise funds, and someone like Uche coming in, I think he fits perfectly with the Premier League in terms of his attributes. He's strong, he's powerful, he's quick, and yeah, looks like I think he'd fit in very, very nicely at Leeds United. Obviously, there's not been any proof there, but Uche is someone who a lot of people are talking about right now because basically with Getafe wanting to get rid of him at this moment in time to raise funds, Leeds United have always been very, very interested in him. It was just, I found it fascinating the other day. Barron Cross didn't mention Uche, but the news in and around Getafe being open to letting him go came out sort of yesterday as well after the conversation. So let's have a look at what you guys are saying. Uche all day long. Big unit, so it'd suit us. Leeds United comps, got to be Uche for me. Connor can play multiple positions and play young, he's still young and cheap. Stop going on about Hamer. He's championship level. No. What a stupid comment, Casual Carping. It's Barron Cross has mentioned that he's one of our targets. So I will not stop going on about Hamer. And with the greatest of respect, guys, with people talking about Brownhill in the chat, I understand it, completely get it, but Brownhill isn't part of our target remit. You've heard Barron Cross pick 4 out. Why are we going to start talking about Brownhill? Why are we going to stop talking about Gus Hamer? Gus Hamer is the likely one to come in, if we're being brutally honest. So let's have a look at what you guys are saying. Anyway, Hamer, bar the wonder goal in the cup game, has been completely anonymous for the Blunts so far this season. Uche is a far better option. Hamer brings someone who will take risks and will push some boundaries on the pitch. Buendia, I think we'll play a little bit safe and bring what we already have. David, thanks for your donations, mate. Based on the transfer activity so far from the 49ers, you think we'll stay up? Also build season on season to become an established Premier League team. I think we've done really well so far. If you were to say to me, gun to my head, Connor, would you be happy with Dominic Calvert-Lewin at Leeds United at the very beginning of the window as our number 9 going into next season? I'd have been a little bit concerned. The more I've done it, the more I've read on it, the more I've looked around on it and all this sort of stuff. I'm a little bit more convinced on it. If I'm Leeds, though, I go get another number 9. Yeah, 100%. I go get another number 9. I don't know how likely it is for Leeds to do that. If like a Peru was to go out and then another striker was to come in, a Demirovic or whoever we'll get onto in just a second, I would do that. Yeah, I would do that. I don't think it's likely at this moment in time. I think DCL coming in has massively shifted strategy. But if you're able to go and get like a competent number 10, they have to go get a 10. They have to get a 10, in my opinion. They need someone in that midfield who really opens things up, is good in the pockets, has got good balance, can get us a few goals this season, can get us a few assists. Leeds need that this season. We need something in that final third. They need a winger to come in and to be explosive and to be able to be good on either side, which maybe Okafor is that guy. And they need fullback cover. But how I think it's going to go is if you are to put a gun to my head, what I think is going to happen is James Justin's going to come in, Okafor's going to come in, and Gus Hamer's going to come in. Mark it down. We are on, the 21st of August. We've got, 10 days left? 10 days left of the window. That's what I think is going to happen. Or Cristantas Uche. Uche seems like it's got a bit of a bit of buoyancy now. So it could be Cristantas Uche. Very, very much so. Sale off for 25 million. Parity has to be cover at fullback and 10. I want us to try for Billing from Bournemouth. Hamer all day long. Not bloody Hamer again. Nobody wants him. Hamer doesn't have the doesn't have the pace to play both sides of the ball for both halves at the Premier League level. Cumbrian match on together says, I agree, Connor. Hamer's a good player, but does have the Achilles heel of running out of steam after 70 minutes of work. I'd be happy with that. Okay, Kim. Chill out, mate. Jesus Christ, Kim, you're a subscriber, mate. Come on, you're a member as well, buddy. Like, let's not go down that road, Kim. Bizarre, honestly, absolutely bizarre. You know that's not where I was coming from, mate. So let's stop that right now. Blades wouldn't sell the best players to us. Move on. Okay, let's move on. Right, let's move on. Gustavo Hamer seems to have caused a lot of heat in the chat this morning. Mattis Albine, or Abline, we should say. Leeds United were interested in this guy not long ago. He was on the room mill right at the beginning of the window. We spoke about him, and apparently Leeds United, according to Court Offside right now, are the front runners for Now, look, I don't want to go into this too much. I mean, apparently it's Leeds United and Forest in for him, which I think we've just been dropped in there, to be honest with you. It looks like Paris FC put in around about 25 million euros for him around about 2 weeks ago. Apparently, Nantes want in and around 50 million euros for him. So I'm kind of looking at this. He doesn't really fit the age profile. Doesn't fit, as I said, that seniority side of it when it comes to Leeds United as well and the recruits that we brought in this season. So yeah, for me, this one doesn't make that much sense. But Court Offside and Team Talk have reported very recently that apparently Leeds are in talks with him. So wait and see on that one. Okay, moving on to Ermedin Demirovic, 27 years of age. We've spoken about him. He outscored Hugo Ekitike last season. Was a big part of the Bundesliga front line. And listen, he looks like an absolute unit up top who has a real finishing sort of proficiency about him. Demirovic has been linked with Leeds United again today. Florian Plettenberg saying that Leeds United and Forest watch this one at the end of the window. Watch this one. There is still something here, but apparently Stuttgart want a heck of a lot of money for the centre forward. That is probably what's going to put Leeds United off. Once again, we've just mentioned the fact that, you know, Leeds have had to sort of change their market strategy because of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Are we going to go out? And we were saying this yesterday. Are we going to go out? I would do this, but I don't own the football club. I think someone has to go out for someone like Demirovic to come in. I think that has to happen. I think a Peru has to be sold. I think something like that needs to happen right now. So, yeah, this will be great. Is it likely? Are we being dropped in there again with agent talk? It looks very much like that. So, yeah, I don't see this one happening. Let us know what you think in the comment section below, everybody, when it comes to that. Okay. Let's have a look. Kim, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Guys, can we... Kim, have you woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning, mate? It's a bit of banter, my friend. I'm deaf as well. Goodness me. Oh, good Lord. Sometimes, guys, you get up, you do this show, and you just sit there and you go, you know, when you've been doing it for 5 days a week for 3 months, and it's great. I love it, of course. But sometimes it's like, let's just stay on the rumour. Let's just have a chat. Let's have a good time. Flipping heck. With 2 out of the 3 strikers being injury prone, I'm worried we don't sign another. Would Demirovic be the marquee signing that moves the needle? Good question, Danny. Yeah, I think a lot of it, when it comes to bringing in this marquee signing, are we being a little bit... Are we... And you know, it was funny, actually. I was speaking to Jer about this the other day, and it's one of those where, do we think that maybe we deserve a marquee signing? You know, let's go and get a marquee sign. Let's go and get a number 9 for 40 million quid. Is that realistic? Is that realistic that we go out there and sign someone, bring in a marquee signing for that value? I mean, look, you look at your Pajau, you look at your Rodrigo Muniz. Leeds are still there, it feels like, when it comes to Rodrigo Muniz, but that's never going to happen. If they got the AOK for that, maybe that would happen. I don't know. But yeah, it looks like overall, when you're kind of looking at that, do Leeds need to go out and bring in a marquee signing? If we spent 35 million quid on Anton Stack, Would that be a marquee signing because we've spent over 30 million quid on him? I don't know, maybe. But it feels like when I've spoke about statement and marquee signings before, it's the difference makers, the X factor in that final third. And it just depends what your categorization of that is, really. Like, I don't think we have to go out and spend amount of money on a striker for Leeds United to fit into the void of a marquee. But it would be nice to go out there and bring in one who you can almost like hang your hat on. Look, if we can go out and get 25, 30 games from Dominic Calvert-Lewin, if we can go and get that, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin can give us a return of 11 to 12 goals, that's an unbelievable return. If Leeds play the way as well, if we play the way that we're expecting to when it comes to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, that would be unbelievable as well. You know, if you're getting the wingers to just the byline, putting the ball into the box, and really aiding him when it comes to a 4-3-3, which is where he worked perfectly under Ancelotti, we really could work to Dominic Calvert-Lewin's strengths there. So who knows? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see on that one. Guys, quick break in play. As you can see, bottom corner, BetMate, fantasy app. But it's brilliant. I get involved every single week. I went to the guys, I went to Paul and the gang and said, look, do you want to sponsor One Leeds this season? They said, yes, Connor, we'd love to be on board. It's a fantasy game of which you pick 7 players each game week, everybody. Whatever 7 players you want, and it changes week on week. You enter a pot for whatever you want. I entered one for a tenner the other day and then £1.50. Do that. You can literally, the QR code's on the screen right now if you want to put your phone on there, getting ready for the weekend. Well worth it, everybody. You can see down there as well, OK Jersey, top replica kits. I've got 10 coming in the post. I mentioned this the other day as well to you guys. Well worth it. We've got prizes from them. 5 players won an OK Jersey from us in the last watch along. We will be doing this on the watch alongs as well. We've got together with all our sponsors so we can give giveaways to the subscribers throughout the season. So what I do want to give back, and it's been a big part of my summer, really bonding with some of these sponsors, getting them on board so they can help you guys out as well, you know, as subscribers. So make sure you check those out. Also, they've been with us from the very start, everybody. Please check out Shop GNO. Well worth it. E-commerce site, cheaper rates than Amazon, Vinted, and eBay. 5% cheaper. Flipping heck. And you can sell and buy for cheap on there as well. Everybody, make sure you do that. Explain to me if we have 3 or more in, how does a 25-man squad... Explain to me if we have 3 more in, how does the 25 squad work? I know under 21s don't count. They don't, Anthony. So Leeds are going to have to get rid of some. They're going to have to shift some. It's very simple, mate. Dave says, Demirovic will 100% be a marquee signing. You could be right, mate. Morning, Connor. Hi, Nige. How's it going, buddy? Demirovic, goals in Bundesliga, 15, expected 14. It's great, isn't it? Easy teasy. That's exactly what you want as well. That is exactly what you want. You want someone who's overperforming their XG. This is what we've spoken about multiple times on the Room Mill. Someone who outperforms their XG, someone like Rodrigo Muniz, you need that because snapshots, you know, little bits where you're going to have to get out of low quality chances. You're going to have to produce high quality end products. If you can do that, you're going to stay up. It's what Liam Delap was doing. It's literally what Liam Delap was doing last season, so it's really important. Roland says, hiya, mate. How's it going? Good to see you in here, buddy. The signings we made so far are quality. DCL gets firing. That would be great. Hey, Uche will be quality additions. Add a number 9 and we'll be flying. I'm on board with the Demirovic signing. My concern, as I stated also, mate, is Prague not willing to be stingy. I would rather get a right winger in than another striker. Think Nemecha, or Mecha. I keep calling him Nemecha. I'm so sorry. Mecha, Peru, and DCL, along with Gray and Okafor, is enough. Muniz would have been the dream, though, of course. Yeah, I agree with that. Let's check how many of you guys are in the building as well, everybody. Let's have a quick little look. We have 1.4 of you in the building. Thank you so much. Make sure you slap a like on the video. I go to every game, mate. You played well, and everyone around me said, so modern fans so obsessed with stats, play the game. Okay. If we bring in Demirovic, would you sell Peru or Gruv? In my opinion, Gruv is useless for us. Yeah, I mean, it's not. This is where this weekend becomes really interesting. This is where this weekend becomes very interesting. And we're going to move on to this Arsenal game now. We've got Farke's press conference at 2, right? If something comes out there about a certain central midfielder who I predict is going to be injured, if something happens with regards to that, we'll come back on and we'll talk about, you know, what we can expect going into the weekend. This is what I would go with ahead of the Arsenal game. If a certain central midfielder who we predicted on the watch along is going to be injured. So I'd go to a back 3, which can morph into a back 5, Stack and Longstaff being effectively compact with each other, and Leeds having Dominic Calvert-Lewin up top, Willian Gnonto and Dan James. Now, this is what I would go with. Is it like, I mean, Leeds have played a 3 at the back under Daniel Farke. Is it likely that we do this? I think it will be smart. It will be pragmatic. You're getting all of the three centre-backs in there. I think it would be harsh to drop Pascal right now. And I think Pascal is a very good covering defender for a fullback / wing-back. And I think this aids Leeds on transition. But ultimately, what it does as well is it means that we can have 5 at the back when we are out of possession. Stack and Longstaff can really get themselves into a compact nature. The reason I'm putting Longstaff and DCL on here is because I think against Arsenal there needs to be runners. If there is an ability for Leeds United to go route one, I think, look, I'll be honest with you, I know Farke wants to play football. If we build out from the back consistently against Arsenal, we're getting absolutely tonked. We're getting absolutely tonked. They'll press us high, won't be able to play through it. We're not good enough to match Arsenal on the ground. You've got to go long for a lot of it. So you've got to put your best ball winner up front, which is Dominic Calvert-Lewin. You've got to put the guy up top who's going to win free kicks. He's going to get us up the pitch. And I think in and around him, you need a little bit of pace. So Dan's got to start. I think Willian Jonto was one of the better forwards in the last game. And I think obviously Anton Stack works. But I think even if you had Ampadu available for this one, I think you'd have to have a conversation about Longstaff. I think in our midfield, Longstaff is the best runner. So I think if you're playing that ball up and around Dominic Calvert-Lewin, the ball's got to hit him, but you've got to have runners in and around him. I think this is the game for Sean Longstaff. Now, a lot of you will raise your eyebrows at Tanaka not being in this lineup. Now, look, I love him. He's a little beauty. He's a metronome. He is, and arguably was, our best player the other night. Styles make fights, though. And if you're going to 3 at the back, you go into an athletic, physical game. You're getting all your big boys back in there. You're working on set pieces. You got DCL in there. You got Stat. You got Beal. You got Perry as a spine. And that's how you've got to work it. I think that's how you got to work it. You can't have... And look, what you've got to bear in mind is we've got to have ball players. We've got to have ball players within this team, of course, yeah, but I still think you've got that. I think Anton Stack is a ball player. I think you get the ball out wide, get it into the box. Deep crosses, we saw that very, very consistently in DCL's best season when it was Luca Dean and he was up top, okay? It was the deep lying crosses, and it means that basically Goodmanson can hold his position a little bit as well. He doesn't have to get forward, get out of position. He can hold that position, play the ball forward. Dominic Calvert-Lewin can battle with Gabriel and Saliba. This is going to be a very, very tough game for him to come into. I don't want Peru starting this game. He'll get gobbled up like he did in the second half of the Everton game. Mecha could be a shout, could be a shout for this game. I think he's physical, but it's going to be a really tough game for him. I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin has all the attributes to be combative with the likes of Gabriel and Saliba. And then if you've got Longstaff as a runner just off him, I think that's where Leeds will at least be able to get up the pitch. You've got to really tactically look at this game. If we go into this game trying to play out from the back, I think if you've got Tanaka in there, Tanaka can come on, make a little bit of a difference, of course, and Leeds have got to keep the ball, but you've got to really play to your strengths in this one. If you're not playing sort of route one, direct football, we're going to get killed. We're going to get absolutely killed in this game. Me and Callum Fowler were talking about it. The episode's going to go out today on the second channel. You've got to really think and strategize how you're going to come up against Arsenal. It's not that Tanaka's not the best player, but you've got to strategize. You've got to get your big boys in there. You've got to get runners in there. You've got to get athletes in there. So that's what I would be looking at for the game. What do you guys think? Let us know. Let's have a look what you guys are saying. Benno says that lineup is spot on, mate. DCL can't be match fit yet. Well, he should be match fit. He's been training all summer, and he said he's in his peak fitness. He said he's the fittest he's ever been. He's 6'2", 6'3", and he's 10 stone. So he looks fit. He said he was fit to Jermaine Beckford. So I'm taking him by face value there. Okay, Nonso or Okafor. I think it's going to be Nonso. Knox agrees with the lineup. Reece says, that Ampadu injury, man, it looked gruesome on the replay. I have no idea how he played on. Yeah, I mean, I kind of, as soon as I saw that, I thought to myself, yeah, he's off. He's off. And then obviously Gruev came on, but Mecha to start and maybe DCL later on, but most likely start Peru. Tanaka over Longstaff. Tanaka can run all day. He can, but Longstaff's 6'2". Play to your strengths. Set pieces. Listen to what Thomas Frank said about playing up against the big clubs. You got to work to your strengths. Defensively, you got to work to your strengths as well in the set pieces, in the duels. Love Tanaka, of course I do, but I think that was the perfect game for him the other night. That was where he should have started, just being that almost deep line playmaker, but being box to box as well. He was everything the other night. But styles make fights, guys. Tanaka having that game the other day, in my opinion, he's not going to have that game against Arsenal because we're not going to have the ball that much. So you need dual merchants in there. You need power. You need physicality. That's exactly what you need. You know, and the 4-3-3 works as well. Let's just pivot to a 4-3-3. Here as well on how Leeds can move into it. If you go to simply a 4-3-3 and you move this around a little bit when it comes to Arsenal. So let's say you go to a 3 at the back. We move Gabby Goodmanson to left back and move Jaden in there. And you're probably looking at Rodon. Can we move Jaden there? Yeah, we can. You're looking at Rodon and Biol at the back, although I think that's extremely harsh. I think that's really harsh on... This is what I'd be going for ideally, even if Tanaka's fit, if I'm honest with you. This is what I'd be looking at in this game. That's what I'd be going with. That's what I'd be going with in this game. This is what I said at the very start of the season. There's going to be games of which Leeds cannot bully these teams. Listen, if you guys haven't heard it, go listen to Chris Wilder. And when they played Arsenal, when they were in the Premier League, in comparison to when they played Arsenal 5 years ago, when you could bully Arsenal. You can't do it anymore. You can't bully the top teams. They're too physical. They're so good on the ball. They're such good footballers, but now they're monsters as well. But you've got to at least try and match them up and play to your strengths. You've got to have runners for this game. Have to have runners. And you have to win free kicks in the opposition half. You've got to frustrate Arsenal. So you need physical presences in there for me. Tanaka would come on the pitch, but I think we've got enough ball playing midfielders in there. I don't think Longstaff's great on the ball, but I think Ampadu's very good on the ball. I think Stack's very good on the ball as well. Okay? But this is going to be a game where it needs to effectively bypass the midfield, and you need to get runners either side of DCL for me. That's what we need to be looking at. I imagine then May just going to come in and back bro and watch from the beginning. Hope all is well. Shout out Matty. Go check out his channel. Top man. Appreciate that, buddy. But Everton and Arsenal play for the set pieces, but in duels can be more physical against Arsenal because the class of the players is higher. Strout better than Rodon. Yeah, I think there's a conversation there, mate, of course. 5-3-2 Connor. James and Willie dropped in. Longstaff, Tanaka and DCL up top. Gyökeres didn't look that good. Do you know what? With the Gyökeres thing, I think this is really important. Now, Gyökeres is going to be a problem. I think we're all aware of that. But his movement was interesting, and I can't wait to see him up against Biel. Honestly, I can't wait to see him up against Biel. I would have been more worried about Havertz because of his movement, because Havertz drops into the right side, he drops into the left side, and he drops into the 10. That would have been more of a worry because he'd have had to drag Biel out, and then you can get Saka and Martinelli just replacing him in that pocket. Arsenal set pieces are lethal. We need big men for this one. That's exactly what I'm looking at, mate. We will spend the majority of the game defending. No shame in that. Good to see where we are. Yeah. James says, seen a lot of mentions of you, Connor, without saying your name. Tom on Pitchside saw you on TalkSport segment. Is that right? Can you clarify that? Can you send me that? James Olcott watches the channel and he's talked about things. Can you guys send me this? I've known James for a couple of years now. James is on the channel right at the very beginning. But James, if you've seen that, that'd be great to see that, mate. Because I do watch Pitchside, and me and Callum do some stuff together as well. And Cal's been on there as well. I'm good friends with Cal. So yeah, if you guys have seen that, that's amazing. If James, if you can link me that'd be amazing. It also probably hasn't happened, but if it has, mate, that'd be great. If you could link me that on socials or just on here, mate, that'd be pretty cool. I would love to see two up front at some point. Who do you think we will be best pairing? Gyökeres is going to be deadly when they're on the counter and making the runs, which I don't see happening. Sadly, I think it'll be the exact same team, and so it should. Arsenal are full of giants now. Yeah, we've got to be smart. Look, you right. Okay, so how I'm looking at it: Wolves away, Fulham away. Don't get me wrong, there's physicality there, but that's a game I think where you can involve Tanaka. Involve Tanaka from the start, in my opinion. Being able to dictate play, split the defenders, get the ball from deep, carry it out from the back. I think that's where you can utilise him. I think in this game, Arsenal are a set-piece team. They're a good team, but I think they are heavily reliant on set pieces. You've got to match them up. You've got to match them up. When you're looking at Gabriel, so let's have a quick look at the team. Let's have a quick look at Arsenal. Who did they play last week? It was scum, wasn't it? Man United versus Arsenal lineup. Let's have a quick look. I'm just going to go through the height of this team. Starting lineups. Let's have a quick look. Right, lineups. Ben White, 6'1". Saliba, 6'3". Gabriel, 6'4". Calafiori, 6'2". Declan Rice, 6'2". Gyökeres, 6'1", 6'2". So then you look at ours, and it sounds ridiculous, and it sounds like we're playing like playground football, but this is literally what you've got to do now. So they've got sort of, I would say, and then you've got Odegaard in there, Zubomendi, Saka, Martinelli. You've got players in and around there, really, who are obviously a little bit short. But you've got 6 that starting lineup who are giants, right? You look at this lineup that I've got there. You've got Jacobiel, 6'4", Joe Rodon, 6'4", Stack, 6'4", Longstaff, 6'2", DCL, 6'3". 6'2", 6'3". So you're matching him up slightly there, aren't you? Matching him slightly. Tom from Pitchside mentioned me as the Leeds fan. All right, okay. Not want to mention my name. Do you know what I mean? What's he on about? No, I'll have to have a look. But I really appreciate that, guys. Thanks for letting me know. Tanaka can play against Man U, but not against Arsenal. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Havertz is injured now. That's the big thing, mate. Come on, guys. Give the like and share. Cost nothing. 1.6k in the building. Thanks again, Mark. Really appreciate that. And do us a favour, everybody. Slap a like on the video and hopefully join us on the watch along. Join us on the watch along as well. But I'm gonna have a look at that now. Thanks for letting me know. And we will be back. If there's something that goes on, press conference wise, I will come back on and letting you know. I'll come back on and let you know, all right? And we can have a chat about it. Right. Been an absolute pleasure, everybody. Thank you so much. Make sure you like before you leave. Check out all of our sponsors. And it's been an absolute pleasure, everybody. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the other side. Cheers.